Hey, everybody. We're Geeking Out Ninjas, and we're here to geek out. Craig, how goes it?
Jeremiah, I'm doing all right.
Are you?
Doing all right.
It's a
Yeah,
big show today.
yeah.
Lots of
There's a
stuff to talk about.
lot of stuff. I hope you're excited and you're ready.
I am very excited, although I have been tired, but
It happens.
I'll pull through. And it all started Monday.
Oh yeah,
So I go to play poker, and there was
yeah.
just a ton of people. I guess it's summer, everything's opening up. There was like probably an extra 10 to 12 people there. And so we were playing till midnight. It was
Oh
crazy.
man.
So, and then it just got worse from there. The next day was not any better. And then yesterday wasn't better. So, but I'm here. I'm good. Got some sleep last night. Things are working out.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to get that sleep eventually.
Eventually. You know what it's like.
Yeah, I'm tired all the time.
Yeah.
It's whatevs. I was super tired yesterday, but so I'm kind of glad we didn't record yesterday.
So for those of you, yes, today is Thursday that we're recording. We normally record on Wednesdays, but oh
Yes.
man, I was literally like forcing myself to stay awake at 6:30. I was on the couch, just like I was not doing well.
Yeah, it helped us fit 2 more things in here, so hopefully that'll be a better show. We'll see how
I
it
think
goes.
so. I think so. I'm really excited about the one thing.
Yes.
I've been waiting for it and talking about it.
You're talking about Ratchet and Clank for PS5 that comes out tomorrow.
That's
Or
Friday.
Yeah.
I've never ever played Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. So what is it part of that free thing or
No, so they still have like a days of play thing going on, but no, this is a brand new PS5 game. Ratchet and Clank has been around for like 20 years.
Yep.
As a video game franchise. First came out on PS2. I don't think I really started playing until it came out on PS3.
Okay.
I think the PS3 came out in 2006, somewhere around there.
Sure.
So, so I played all those games, and then I started going back, and I think I ended up playing all the PS2 games just because I enjoyed them so much. I think I played them in college, to be honest, because I remember listening to I can't remember the name of the band. There was like I have like a specific memory like like emblazoned in my brain of like I'm playing Ratchet and Clank, the PS2 version. Um, and I'm listening to this music. I cannot think of the name of the band. It's killing me. Um, but yeah, so it's like forever there in my mind. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank for PS5 looks amazing. It just like builds on top of all the cool things they've done, plus like with Ratchet and Clank, but also builds on top of the Spider-Man games that they recently. So Insomniac it's the same studio that makes the Spider-Man games. And so they're building on top of that and all the technology and all the stuff they've built for those games. So it's just like adding all these things together to make a really amazing looking game, but also it looks like people are having a really good time with it. I think the reviews have it as the highest rated game of the year so far.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a platformer game with some third person shooting elements in there. But this one kind of changes things up a little bit, and because of the quote unquote the power of the PS5, as everybody or as I'm sure Sony likes to say, they get to do some cool new things that you wouldn't have been able to do previously, and I'm super excited to check out some of the new features that nobody's talking about, but I know they're there because it's like people have shied away from talking about certain things, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be really cool. So I'm excited to play this.
Did you pre-order it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Pre-ordered from Best Buy. Should be delivered sometime tomorrow. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Is there still a shortage of PS5s?
Yeah, still shortage of PS5. But I mean, they've sold more PS5s in the period that it's been available than any other console
Oh,
in the
wow.
history of consoles. So it's not like there. I mean, there's a shortage, but at the same time, they're selling more of these things than anything else.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
it's not just because of the chip shortage that's happening across the industry and across the world.
It's
It's
just people
because
want it.
everybody just wants these things, so it's impossible to find them,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm super stoked about that. It's the other thing about this is I feel like it's one of those games that I feel like I can play with my kids in the room. Because there are a lot of like there's a game I'm playing right now that's not like I wouldn't consider it an adult game by any means, but I
Grand
feel like
Theft
it would be
Auto?
what? No. But I feel like it would be scary for my kids.
Sure.
Um,
Do they watch you play?
they've watched me play a couple of games. So we played Astrobot.
You talked about that.
Yeah, for PS5, and they watched me play some of Sackboy, which is another platformer. Actually, all these games are platformers. Those are usually the most kid-friendly games.
Right.
Um, and so they watched me play those, and then I actually this is my PlayStation VR headset.
Yeah.
So there's an Astro VR game that because my kids kept being like, "Can we play Astro? Can we play Astro?" And I'm like, "I beat this game twice now. Like I'm good. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore." So I'm like, "All right, I'll bust out the VR one, and they can watch me play that." And so I played that for a little bit with them, and they enjoy all that kind of thing.
Nice. Nice. I did buy NBA. Did I tell you I bought NBA 2K21?
No, for the
21?
Quest.
No. You can't buy that for the Quest yet.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
bought it for the PS4
Oh, okay.
and I
Nice.
played it once.
Sounds about right.
It does. My daughter took it to her room, the PS4,
Oh, okay.
and I haven't seen it.
Uh-oh.
It upsets me because
Is
I
it?
talk trash to her boyfriend every day saying I could beat him in 2K, but
Yeah.
I played once because I bought it.
Yeah.
So I put and this is what frustrates me about these games. I know they're cool and everything, but I put it in the PlayStation and I can't play it right away.
Yeah, I gotta wait for it to download
It's
and
got to download.
yeah.
So then I decide, okay, the next day I'm going to play it and I'm going to play career mode where you create your own player and then you work your way to the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Then I have to register my user and then download more content. Like
Yeah.
what?
There's always more to download, right?
Ah, I just
That's
can't put the cartridge in and play. Come
yeah.
on.
There's always an update to download. It's all that kind of stuff. So I mean what's cool about I think the PS4 did this and the PS5 does this. For stuff like that, obviously the first time you play it, you're gonna get stuck doing that kind of stuff,
Right.
unfortunately. Like I know when I pop in Ratchet and Clank, I'm gonna have to download a day one patch that's gonna take, however long. Uh, but usually once they release new updates, um, the PS4 and the PS5, they'll download those and install them while the system's offline, so you don't have
Right.
to wait for it. But yeah, it is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
You have to wait so much time to just play a game.
Yes.
That's why I always hear these things around Christmas. Everybody's like, take out your kids' whatever game console out of the box, download updates, install the games, like make it to where they can just like play like right away, and so they can just kind of get into it and not have to like, well, Daddy's got to sit here for like 2 hours downloading updates for you. Sorry.
Exactly. I know that now, but I didn't think about that before, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Not that I'm doing that anymore. They can buy their own game consoles.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share a story that I teased last week.
Yes.
And this didn't happen recently. This is actually an old story that I tell, but I don't know how it, I guess because I was talking about cats. I always talk about cats, it seems like. I like cats. But it was fresh in my mind last week and I teased it. So I'm going to tell you this story, Craig.
I feel like you should lead off with what you call the cat thing.
So in our show notes, is that
No,
what you're
not
saying?
not that. Because when I heard about this story for the first time last week,
It's an old story too. This is
It
like
is.
from 20 years ago.
Yeah. So that when I first heard about the story, Jeremiah was it Cassie that talked about? Was she
Yes.
the one who first said it? Okay, so Cassie's Jeremiah's wife. Um,
Who doesn't
and
listen to the show, by the way?
yeah, but we were on the video chat and both of our wives were in the room before we started recording last week. And somehow Jeremiah's cat nipples came up and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
Me and my wife were both like, I don't think I want to know the rest of this story. This sounds weird. But then as it gets on, I'll let Jeremiah tell the rest of the story.
So I have cat nipples. So what does that mean? It's a weird thing. So again, this was actually 22, almost 22 years ago. This was prior to my firstborn. We were young marrieds. We were in our first apartment, and a friend of ours had a kitten. Couldn't have been. I mean, it's a couple of months old, maybe. And our friend had to go out of town, so us being friendly with pets, and we had cats growing up. Like, oh yeah, we'll watch the cat. So it was a tiny cat, and I like to play with kittens. Kittens are fun to play with, and we were in our bedroom on our bed playing with the kitten, and it was jumping around, being ferocious and everything. And I didn't have a shirt on. It's just normal. And while I'm playing with the kitten, it looks at my chest and stops dead in its tracks. Just stopped and looked. And within milliseconds, the kitten jumps on my chest and attaches to my nipple to feed on it. To feed on my man nipples.
His cat nipples.
Oh, and it's not pleasant because the kitten had claws and had to attach itself with the claws, and then the teeth, the tongue and the teeth attached to my areola area to get the nipple and get the milk out of my chest, my man boob, man breast. So needless to say, I did grab the kitten and pull it off and throw it across the bed. I didn't as hard as I could, but
it's one of the, I feel like it was just one of those instinctual reactions, like, what the hell is going on here?
Yes. So I apparently have nipples that attract kittens, and they want to feed on my nipples.
Yeah.
So from that point on, if I have a kitten or I'm playing with a kitten, I will keep my shirt on.
It's for the best.
It's terrible.
Oh my goodness.
It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never had a human baby attached to my nipple, but they don't have teeth, right?
Eventually they do.
They do,
and that hurts.
I'm sure it does because cat teeth hurt.
Yeah, that's usually around the time mom's like, I think we're done.
Yeah. So now all of you know that I have cat nipples and that I have tried. I didn't try, but cats try to feed on me. That is my superpower. I can feed kittens.
Sort of.
Yes.
It just reminds me of from Meet the Parents.
Yes, milking the. Yeah.
You can milk anything with nipples.
Pretty much.
Milk me, Greg?
Yeah. I did that. We found that hilarious because I had tried to
previously. Yeah.
That really hit home. That joke was great. So we'll move on from that.
Yeah. That's good.
And something else that happened this week, which I've been very excited about, is Loki.
Yeah.
Did you watch?
We did. Me and my wife both watched Loki.
I actually, because I had stayed up late Wednesday night, I was going to stay up and go ahead and watch it. And midnight rolled around and I tried to watch it. And then I realized, wait a minute, it's not midnight Central Time. It's midnight Pacific Time.
Wait a minute. I think me and my wife watched it yesterday.
Well, that would have been Tuesday. Yeah, it came out Wednesday morning at 2 a.m.
Oh, gotcha. You're talking, gotcha.
Right. So that night it already hit midnight, and I thought it was actually after midnight, and I thought, oh, I might as well watch it since I'm up.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't out yet for another couple of hours. So
yeah, they do it at a weird time in the middle of the morning for some reason.
So, but I did watch it. I watched it actually a couple of times already.
You can never get enough Loki.
Loki is amazing. Well, the actor just plays the part so well.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
He does a fantastic job, and you need to watch it if you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, there's maybe spoilers involved in the next couple minutes.
Maybe. What do you?
I mean, there's not a whole lot that we're giving away, even if we talk about it.
Well, because it takes place in the past, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it picks up right where Loki disappears in the last Avengers movie, where the Avengers go back in time to get the Tesseract, and Loki ends up with it at his foot. He picks it up, poof, he disappears. In the movie, you don't know where he goes.
Right.
Obviously, they had plans, and he goes to Mongolia.
Yes.
Which is where the time agents get him and take him back to their lair. The TVA, right?
The Time Variance Authority.
Yeah. And that's where, I mean, the story of the show really picks up is when he's taken to the Time Variant Authorities, and they explain who the Time Variant Authorities are, and we're not going to talk about all that stuff on this.
No.
This is not that kind of podcast.
No, we don't break it down, but it was, Loki is such an interesting character, and I think I love that they're really just hitting to who he is.
Yeah.
And what he's done and what he's going to do. They're really attacking Loki at, what he's trying to accomplish. And I think it's brilliant. I liked the story. I like that they're really going at the character to try, because everybody likes Loki, even though he's a villain.
Yeah.
It just seems like he's one of the most popular Avengers, right? Because Tom Hiddleston just plays him brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be, it's 6 episodes total.
Yep. Which is pretty standard for Marvel. I think, I think I said this on one other one. They're always doing 6 hours.
Right.
Of TV, whether it's, hour-long episodes or 30-minute episodes, it's still going to be 6 hours of TV. So,
yeah. So awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. Very entertaining. The premise definitely lends itself to a TV show and learning more about Loki, and hopefully Loki learning more about himself. And I think it's going to be a really entertaining ride to go on. I think there's a lot of explaining in this episode of what's going on, because this is a new concept for Marvel, the Marvel universe, the time traveling and the multiple timelines and things like that. But I think it's going to, just based on how they've explained the show so far, and I mean, based on other things as well, but based on how they explain what's going on in the show, you can definitely see how phase 4 of the MCU is going to go into the multiverses, and that's where you're going to see. Why can I not think of the Doctor's name?
Doctor Strange?
Yes, Doctor Strange movie is really going to dig into that, as well as Spider-Man and some other ones.
Knowing what we know about phase 4 and the title of the movies and kind of who's in it.
Yeah.
With this episode, it kind of brings that into question because of how they explain the timeline works.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how they're going to get from this to where we're going. Now, do you know? So Owen Wilson plays, how do you say his name?
Mobius. Mobius M. Mobius.
So do you know how he appeared in the comics? Where his first interaction with Marvel was in the comics?
I read about it because, once again, if you if you like the MCU, but you're not like super versed in all Marvel comics, check out
Yes.
denofgeek.com. They usually do 3 to 4 different stories on the TV shows as they come out. Some of them are just Easter eggs of like these are different things they've thrown in from the comics. They'll dig deeper into certain characters. So they have an article about who the timekeepers of the MCU are. They also talk about who Agent Mobius is and his deep Marvel roots and
Yes.
what's
So
a Nexus event. So if you want to know more about that stuff in depth, I definitely recommend checking out denofgeek.com. Tons of cool stuff like that. But continue on.
well, I was just gonna say because I googled it. Of course, I want to know. I like to look like you know,
Yeah.
you're just going to find out more details about it. So he actually appears with the Fantastic Four. That's the
Oh,
first
that's right.
time
Yeah,
he
yeah.
appears in the comics, anyways. And so I think we have confirmation, right, that they're working on a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, they did say they were working on a Fantastic Four
So
movie. So yeah.
I know a lot of people are excited about that. It's just kind of interesting how they're where they bring these characters from and how they introduce them into the MCU and where they get their stories from. It's good stuff. It's very interesting, and I think
Yeah.
it's brilliant the way that they're creating this and expanding this universe.
Yeah.
I don't, it's. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have done this before, though. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
I think they got to do one thing at a time. Tell
sure,
tell
but
one set of stories at a time. I think it just how it's falling into place, but it's it's going to be interesting to see. That's the thing I like about Marvel. They're tying, like you said, like Mobius. He first appeared in Fantastic Four. He's appearing in this, doing the same essential job. He didn't have a big
right,
role in that first comic, but um, them sh them eventually probably weaving him into the Fantastic Four movie. Who knows?
exactly.
But just seeing how they handle these like characters that play a big or small role in certain movies, but then they expand or contract those roles later on and in different movies is always pretty interesting to see.
Yes, so I'm really excited. I'm the thing I hate though is waiting for the next week for the next episode.
Yeah,
That's terrible. Come on, be like Netflix. Just release it all at once.
never gonna happen. Because now we're talking about it. Now we're getting more people interested, and the cycle continues.
It is.
The more subscribers, the more money they make.
There you go.
All right, let's get on to the news. We're going to do a precap real quick. It's a real short precap. Google Pixel feature drop happened recently. Xbox just announced some new stuff. A super inexpensive Android TV box that I'm pretty excited about. I'm actually buying one even though I don't need it. And our main topic will be Apple's WWDC, which is their developer conference, where they announced a bunch of new things coming to iOS, which is the iPhone, the iPad, the AirPods, and the watch, and all that stuff. So
Yes.
stay
We
tuned.
love Google. We love Android, but we will bring you iPhone news and iOS news, Apple news. It's okay.
Yeah,
Some people like it.
we cover it all. There's always those. So, Google Pixel feature drop. So they do one of these every quarter. So 4 times a year,
Mhm.
they will do like a bunch of features at one time. So they used to do them like just sporadically throughout the year. And I think they realized that they needed some marketing behind it so people would know that new things were coming out. So they kind of combined them all into one thing. They do announce them throughout the year, which is kind of interesting, but then they all show up at the same time.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things, Google Pixels have an astrophotography mode where you can set your phone up on a tripod and it'll take pictures of the stars. I've done it. It's not as great as like a DSLR, but it's still, if you don't have the equipment to do something like that, it's still a cool alternative.
Right.
But
That's pretty cool.
yeah, they're taking it to the next level. They are doing astrophotography videos
Mhm.
in Google Camera. Um, my guess is it's probably not going to be video per se. It's probably going to be more of like a time
Just
lapse
right.
situation. Because as long as the astrophotography photos take, can take anywhere, depending on how bright the sky is, 30 to 60 seconds to take the photo. Obviously, that's not going to be a very smooth video. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I haven't seen it on mine yet, but I have not looked in the past 2 days.
Yeah.
One of the other things that's pretty cool is they're going to have a locked folder in Google Photos. So if you've ever taken photos of like your driver's license or other things,
Other sensitive photos
or
videos.
Yeah, or videos. You'll be able to put them in a locked folder. This only applies to your phone, unfortunately. I'm hoping that they make this kind of go across to the website for
Right.
Google Photos, so that you can kind of pick it up there and maybe like download it and then delete it situation if you want to. But
so it doesn't save it to the cloud.
it does not save it to the cloud if you put it in the locked folder in Google
Right.
Photos.
Yeah. So if you're wanting to keep
That's the key thing.
Yeah. Sorry,
So-
I didn't mean to interrupt your.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's a good thing to point out. It's hidden behind either your fingerprint or your face or whatever lock system that you want to use. But thought that was pretty cool to be able to kind of keep some things out of your gallery, if you will. If you're like showing somebody photos and all of a sudden they go rogue and right or something, and you're like, picture of my whatever.
I have to let someone know about this feature and probably show them how to use it.
Yes.
I
don't know if I want to know who it is.
You don't know who it is.
Oh, I was going to say, I hope I don't. Well,
no, you don't.
Okay. I don't know.
And you don't want to see the photos that I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been asked to help get those off the phone.
Oh, gosh. No.
And
no, thanks.
It's scary. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It was unpleasant.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Let's keep going. That person I know doesn't listen to this podcast, so it's terrible.
So they're expanding the reach of their car crash detection. So previously, if you were in a car accident, the phone would automatically call emergency services for you. So that obviously you could have an ambulance or someone come out there. It was previously only available in the US, the UK, or Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They are now expanding it to Spain, Ireland, and Singapore. This is just a really cool feature. You can, so they have a personal safety app that you can type in like your ice contact, your like blood type, other things that doctors may need to know.
Right.
And just a kind of a great feature. The fact that they're adding things that could happen without you being able to contact authorities on your own, I think is a nice bonus.
I think so. Yeah.
So to expand that to other countries is great. I'm sure they'll continue to expand that as they get permission from other countries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The heads up alert.
Yeah, heads up alert in digital well-being. I don't really use the digital well-being. So if you're familiar, I don't remember what iOS calls it, but it's like it just shows you how you're spending your time on your phone.
Right.
And you can set up the digital well-being app to maybe you limit yourself to an hour a day of TikTok videos or cribbage. I'm just going after Jeremiah's. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch our top 3 apps.
Both of which are not on my top 3 anymore, by the way.
Sad day. We got to redo that video. But yeah, so this will give you more heads up alerts on what's going on with your digital well-being versus before you had to go into the app, you had to look and see what's going on.
Well, and it also now periodically warns you to look. It's like if you're walking and looking at your phone, it'll like give you a reminder, hey, look up.
Hey, you're about to crash into something.
Yeah. So I guess that's handy. I never look at my phone and walk because I know I'll fall.
I have done that. I think I did it today. So I don't normally do it because I feel like I'm going to walk into the wall, but nice. I was doing it today. So, we all have those times. You'll be able to take calls with Google Assistant. So you essentially just say, hey, the keyword, answer the call or reject a call. I don't want to say it because my Google that's in here is going to trigger and it's going to be like, what? What are you talking about?
Hey, Google, take a note.
Son of a bitch.
She didn't hear me.
Doing it. What did it say? No, cancel.
Okay.
There we go.
Goodness.
Sorry. I just had to do it.
So, so they're going to add that functionality into the phone app itself, so that you can actually have it answer and reject calls for you. I think that'll mainly come in handy for maybe if you're in the car.
Right.
I don't know how handy that is for me if I'm just sitting in front of my phone, because then I'm curious if it automatically puts it on speakerphone.
I would assume so.
You would think so, but it doesn't say that. So
No.
I might have to try it out just to see what happens.
Now, I haven't done this yet, but I've noticed that it tells me that Google Assistant can wait on hold for me. Have you tried that yet?
I haven't done it, but yeah, that's freaking awesome. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. I feel like we could go over some of those cool features in the phone app, like in a whole like expanded episode of just like that kind of stuff. But it does that kind of stuff. It'll schedule appointments for you. This call screening in the Google Pixel is ridiculously good. Like that feature alone, the call screening feature, makes it hard for me to like want to ever go to a different phone because it works so well. I get very little spam calls whatsoever. And even if I do get a call, you hit screen call, it does like this whole, like you're talking to the Google Assistant, like how can we take a message or what do you want to say to this person? And the personal, most of the time people just hang up because you know it's somebody who's just trying to sell you something. And then you can go and you can block that person's number.
Well, what's interesting though, real people that have called me and I've screened the call, they don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, I've had that before. Some people leave voicemails.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, did you not listen to what the person, what Google said?
Oh, they didn't. I think I've had one person say, that is awesome. I need to know how to do that on my phone. And then that was it.
And then you're like, well, you got to buy a Pixel.
Yeah.
So Google Gboard, which is their keyboard, will now surface phone numbers, email addresses, and URLs in your clipboard suggestion space. So right above where the keys are, if you're typing something to someone and they ask for information, maybe, do you know the contact information of the stylist? Someone responds like, yes, I'll send it now. And in the top row where they'll suggest like words to use and autocomplete, things like that, now it will show you their phone number, their email address, different information about that person. So it's trying to base it off of information that's on the device. It's not pulling this from anywhere else except for on the device.
Right.
So it's not something that's going out to the Google Cloud. It's all on device machine learning stuff. But definitely a nice little handy bonus feature. They're expanding availability for call screen and call recorder. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually set it to record all your calls if you wanted to. But you can also just record calls. The call screen thing also will do a transcription. This is not related to what I'm talking about, but the call screen will do a transcription of that interaction with that person.
Right.
And you can go back and listen to it or read it later. But that just expanding it to more countries and not super, I don't know, not super great for us, but it's nice that more people are getting the feature.
Yeah.
So that's the Pixel feature drop for this quarter. Probably won't be another one until September. So it's always cool stuff. Some of it
right when the Pixel 6 comes out, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. It'll be right around that same time. So which is kind of what they do. A lot of times they'll announce the new phone. They'll be like, these features are exclusive to the new Pixel for like the next like couple of months or something. Right. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy the new phone. And then they're like, all right, it's available for the other one. I'm like, I'm fine with this.
Nice.
Next story, talking about Xbox.
Yes.
So what piqued my interest on this one is, so Gampass is their subscription gaming service where you essentially get You pay a monthly fee, and I think it went up recently.
Yeah, isn't it around $15 or something?
It's somewhere around $15. $15 a month, and you get to play unlimited games within whatever that subscription is. So whatever games are on there.
Right.
It's Xbox first party games and some other games as well from other companies. But what's kind of interesting about this announcement is that they're announcing a streaming stick. So you'll be able to get an Xbox streaming stick. They don't have like any information about this. This was done in like a weird way. It wasn't like announced to the press or to the media.
So like a Fire Stick or a Chromecast?
Theoretically, that's what it is. I don't know if you're only going to be able to play games on it or if you're going to have like streaming media services. I would imagine they would add that as well. But depending on how much they want to charge for it, I imagine it's under $100. However much it's going to be, whatever it includes, it'll be under $100. So you'll be able to plug that straight into your TV, probably load up an Xbox controller to it, and then play whatever games you have on Game Pass. So Game Pass also, it streams everything from the cloud.
Right.
So there's nothing locally stored on your.
So it's like around right over 200 games, I think is what it says here.
Yeah,
right?
It's not a ton of games, and a lot of the games are on the smaller side, but it is kind of it's not something that I would probably ever do, but it is something nice for people who want to just. There are a lot of people who don't like complete games. They just kind of like go and they play like a certain amount of games, and they're like, all right, I'm done after a couple hours or whatever. And then they'll go on to the next game. They're just going from game to game to have fun, which,
Right.
To each their own. They are also announcing an Xbox app for TVs and other media streaming services. They didn't announce they didn't say if it was going to be on Roku or Fire TV or Apple TV or Android TV or any of those. So we'll see what that ends up being and when it comes out, but they're going to have that app out for multiple different devices. So all you have to do is connect your Xbox controller, or probably other controllers as well.
Sure.
And be able to play the games. So another way for them to get that $15 a month or $20 a month. I imagine that subscription is going to go up at some point, is my guess. Probably. And they're also making it available for all browsers coming up in the next few weeks. So I think it's in beta right now for like Android and some other browsers, but this will be available across the board. So essentially whatever computer you use, even on your Android phone, iPhone, as long as you can open a browser, you'll be able to play the games, as long as you can connect your Xbox controller to your device. I mean, it's a pretty cool and pretty interesting way to get people into games. They're not the only streaming service around, but I think they're tapping into a market and that people want to be able to just kind of play a bunch of different things,
right,
for a set price. They want to be the Netflix of games, essentially.
Well, moving this technology along, I think is going to open it up for other developers or platforms, and it's just going to get better. Microsoft's pretty much the first one to do it, but everybody's going to improve on it. It seems like is what tends to happen.
So yeah, we'll keep looking at this and see what they come up with. But those are the kind of the big things. They're just trying to make it available in more places without you having to have an Xbox,
right,
to play these games or a PC to play these games. So just kind of interesting how they're making it more accessible to more people.
Now that look, and my brain.
That was good talking.
My brain is just going faster than my mouth.
It happens sometimes.
I wanted to move to the next article, but I just couldn't get it. Oh, I couldn't get it out.
Brain no worky.
Yeah. It's been a long few days here. Walmart's new 4K Android TV box.
$30.
Very excited.
$30.
Crazy.
So what's interesting about this? So Google came out with their Chromecast with Google TV. That was $50. I actually have one of those. I really like it. I think they updated the interface, and it's really slick. You can search across different media services. It does a lot of things that like the Apple TV does, but at like a third the price, a
Right.
third to a fourth the price. Still supports 4K and wireless and all that kind of stuff. And it just plugs into the HDMI port, so it's real hidden. There's not,
Mhm.
you don't really ever see it behind your TV, which is really nice. Um, but this Walmart essentially version of the same thing is literally using the same processor, um, the same software. It's using all the same stuff, but it's $20 cheaper than Google's Chromecast with Google TV. Um, and I think they give you, so the remote actually has a lot more buttons than mine.
Right.
So let me share my screen real quick here. Um, you can see this remote on here has quite a few buttons. They've got like the Google Assistant button where you can press it and start talking to Google Assistant. They've got a mute, volume up and down, shortcuts to other apps. They've got a back button, home button. I'm assuming this TV icon is probably like an input. No,
Input.
actually, that's not an input button. This
Oh,
one's
it's
the
not?
input button. Yeah, because this has got the same icon mine does for the input button. I'm not sure what this one is, but could be interesting. And I imagine some of these buttons are customizable. Like this one looks like a favorites button almost. Like you might be able to
Yeah.
customize it to whatever you want it to be, which is always interesting to me. Um, but this is what mine looks like. So this is my,
Back it up just a tad. Yeah, not quite as many buttons. Not as impressive.
yeah, it's got the click wheel in the middle and all that stuff. Whoa. It's got the microphone built in so you can talk directly to it. What's kind of cool is it also has the IR built into it so you can control your TV and other devices that are plugged in. But to be able to do essentially the same thing Google's doing for $20 less for $30,
That's
and
pretty impressive.
that's insane how much capability you're getting for $30.
Yeah.
Like I would recommend this to anybody, um, just because I know it's going to be a really good, inexpensive device. So
It
I was,
doesn't use no, it doesn't use the Google TV interface. The
is
new
that what it
Google
said?
interface. Yeah. It doesn't use that. So it's going to look I am assuming like maybe the previous version, like Chromecast.
Yes, it'll look like Android TV.
Right.
I imagine at some point up, they've got to upgrade it to Google
Oh,
TV.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But right now it doesn't.
Yeah. Still really good though for that same price.
I'm gonna have to go to Walmart and see if I can find one.
Like I said, I may get one just to be able to test it out and see how it is.
Walmart, if you're listening, you can send it to us and then we'll test it out for you.
We'll
Just
test it out
FYI.
for free. We won't charge you anything.
No. We've already
Uh,
given you free advertising.
yeah,
So
exactly. So our main topic of the evening is Apple's WWDC and all the new, pretty cool things that they announced. There's some that I was pretty surprised about. Some that are, um, things that Android has had for a while, which, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody steals from everybody. So it's always good when you steal the good ideas from each other and make your product better.
right.
Um, so yeah, some really cool stuff. The first one is if you're familiar with Google Lens, you essentially can take a picture or hover over certain things and you can pull the text out of the image. So say you have a sign or a document that you want to copy and paste, but you don't want to have to like retype it or just say all the words. You can literally either take a picture of it or you can keep I feel like it would be hard to just kind of hold your phone and then scroll the text with your finger and copy it. But you can take the picture of it and then copy and paste that text into some other document or a text message or something.
I was unaware of this.
You didn't know about this in Google Lens?
No, I did not.
So it's actually built into. So there is a Lens app,
I'm
which
gonna do this now.
I never use the Lens app. I usually so it's built in the Pixel camera. So if you take a picture of something, I'm like, do I have text nearby that's not
I know.
All right, here. Let me do a quick demo. So I've got Elmo and the Buccaneers on my phone here.
Right.
So there's a lens button here at the bottom. Oh, disappeared. Lens button here at the bottom. Press that lens button, and it's going to kind of figure out what text is in the image. And it highlights what you want, and then it puts a little like dot on certain sections of text. So you can just click the dot, and you can do more than that. You can actually scroll over the text if you want to, but you can click the dot, and it'll bring up like Google searches down here based on that dot. You can tap on a different dot. It'll bring up different Google searches.
Hey, that's a picture of me there.
That is, oh yeah, that's our text message from earlier. They have chat heads, but you can also kind of select the text. And then from there, you can copy text. You can do a Google search based on that. You can copy it to your computer. You can listen to the text. You can also translate the text. So let's listen to
the Buccaneers.
So there's a bunch of different things you can do with.
I had no idea.
Yeah, with Google Lens. Super cool stuff. Apple's, I don't know if they're doing everything, and they may be doing some things slightly differently. But the fact that they're doing it is going to be really great for iPhone users. I find this useful all the time, just copying and pasting stuff without having to actually type anything.
Well, yeah. It's
really awesome. And translating things. You can translate signs and other text. So that's always super helpful. Their translation, I think, won't be as robust as Google's at first. I think they'll only be able to translate English, Chinese, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. Probably not a big deal for most Americans, but
right.
If you go to a foreign country, super helpful. Like me and my wife may be going to Iceland in September. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this.
Well, we're still discussing.
Are you going to stay in the ice hotel?
No, probably not. I bet that's super expensive.
Oh.
We still have some things to figure out, but you know, there's everything's in.
How could you not tell me?
We just started talking about it.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyways, it's a lot of things in not in English, so being able to translate that will be super helpful. I'm sure most things, as most countries, have like a secondary thing in English, but
yeah.
All right. So that's their, I forgot what they called it, live text.
Live text. That is cool.
They're adding some new features to FaceTime. Some that are interesting to me, some that are not, but I'm sure will be interesting to others. They are adding a grid view in FaceTime, so you can see more people on your screen at one time.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, they're adding spatial audio. So the call will sound like it's coming from different locations in your headphones or from your speakers. They say it will help make group conversations easier to follow. I imagine they'll put people's voices in different places to make it easier. They'll have different mic filters. So I think as it stands right now, their mic filter tries to filter out all background noise completely. This one will let you choose to turn on full spectrum audio so that you can actually share the sounds that you're listening to on the call itself, which could be handy. Maybe you're at a concert and you're like, oh, you got to check out this song. They are adding a portrait mode, so it won't just be vertical. I feel like this should have been added a long time ago. I was kind of surprised that this was just now added. I don't have an iPhone. But portrait mode seems like it's in every other video chat app.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised about that. But it'll blur your background and focus the camera on the speaker itself in portrait mode automatically. And a big one, you will be able to invite other people with FaceTime links. And by other people, I mean people who don't have iPhones, iPads, Macs. What? Yeah, so essentially they'll be joining the call from a browser. So you can join it from your browser on your phone, your iPhone, or not your iPhone. You probably wouldn't
Your
do that. Your
Android phone.
Android phone, or from a Windows computer or something like that.
Which is brilliant. I don't like that you can't FaceTime or video call cross-platform.
So here's my thought on that. Like, it's nice that they're doing it. Why didn't they just make a freaking app?
Because I don't want another app
I do.
on my phone.
Here's the deal, though. Like, so you can be invited. So someone can send you a link and be like, "All right, we're gonna do this call in like 5 minutes." But if someone were
another app, right?
yeah, but if someone just wanted to like FaceTime me like right away, they'd have to send me the link through a different app, and then I'd have to get it, open it in the browser, blah blah blah. Like, if they had a FaceTime app that I could download from my phone, like they could just like call me and then it just works. Like, why the extra steps? It just seems kind of dumb to me.
Yeah. Well, I just do Zoom calls now, so I don't even.
Yeah, there's so many different platforms out there. It's kind of annoying that none of them talk to each other. It'd be great if they did. That way you don't have to worry about what app you have. It's just like, all right, we're all going to talk together. They all use the same protocols. They all use what's called WebRTC. And it's like, why can't you make all of these things just work together and make everybody's life easier? But, then they couldn't lock you into their platform.
Exactly.
The other big announcement for FaceTime is what they're calling SharePlay. So this will allow you to be on a video call with someone and watch a video or listen to music with that person at the same time. So this is different than if you were, hold on. I see your face scrunching up like, I have the same feelings you do, but, so what's interesting about this is it's not like you're sharing your screen, your video, where it's like super laggy or something like that. It's essentially a stream on two separate devices. So it's like it's playing over here and it's playing over here on these two separate devices. It's not playing on one and then sharing to the other one, which is how most video apps work.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool about this is, say you're watching a movie or a video with someone over FaceTime and you want to put it on the TV so you can watch the movie on your TV while still having the video call going on your phone. You can do that as long as you have an Apple TV. You could probably do that. I bet you could do that with the music as well. I'm with you. I don't see the point in this thing. It's not geared towards people like me, but there are some people who they want to share that experience with people on their phone. And this is, they're enabling them to do this. I think it's a cool technology. It's not something I would ever use. Like, they have, I don't know if you're aware of this, like in some apps like Disney, I think HBO Max and some other, I think Netflix has it, where you can watch the same thing at the same time. Like, you didn't know about that?
Why do I just hit play at the same time?
Yeah, it's not synced up though. So I think what's cool about this is that you can pause it and it'll pause both of them.
I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, it's a cool thing, but why did someone waste time on it? Like, they could have been developing something else that would really matter.
I don't know, man. It must be something that they think people are going to want to use. They've already got a bunch of big names on board for this: Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO Max, NBA, Twitch, TikTok.
Just come over and watch it, or just hit play at the same time.
Masterclass, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus, and Pluto TV all are going to be enabling SharePlay in their.
The code's already written. They just got to apply it to their.
They just got to add the API and stuff. Yeah. So, I'm with you. Like, it's something I would, even if I had an iPhone, it's something I would never use. The only time I could ever see that maybe being the case is maybe I'm away from my family and I could spend time with them watching like a movie or something. But even then, it seems far-fetched that I would do that.
Well, if you talk during a movie, I don't go with you anymore.
I don't like that either.
that ends our relationship of movie watching together.
It's game over, man.
Yeah. You go watch it on your time. I'll watch it on my time. We'll talk about it, but don't. Okay. And I get like a quick question or something, like I can handle that. But when you go throughout the movie, every time something happens, like, no, man, you gotta, no, I don't know. I just think some of these developers could have developed something else besides, I don't know. I don't get it. Kids are different now, I guess.
My guess is this is one
More
of those
power to
things
'em.
they developed based around quarantine, where it's like, we can't do these things together anymore, but maybe we can kind of make it happen digitally, virtually.
Sure, whatever.
That's my guess. It's probably something that would have never been developed had they not had the pandemic. Is my guess on that whole thing.
Well, I hope there are people that use it and it doesn't just fall to the wayside.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
There you go.
This one I'm actually kind of excited about.
I like how you defended it, though. I do appreciate you defending it.
Hey, you gotta. We can't be bashy all the time.
There you go.
Here's my take on this whole thing. So people always ask me, what phone do you use? What phone do you recommend? I'm like, whatever works for you. Like, I've gotten to the point, because for the longest time it's like, oh, I hate iPhones. You know, it's like blah blah blah. I'm like, whatever works for you, totally use that. Like, I'm not here to like try and change your mind about anything. If that's great for you, great. Like you know, we all have things that are better for us. So this other thing that they're adding, notifications, they're changing the way notifications work on iPhone. Thank God. iPhone notifications, in my opinion, are garbage compared to Android's notifications. Like the notifications alone would make me never switch to an iPhone.
Right.
I hate iPhone notifications. They are not useful in any way, shape, or form the way they are right now. But they are changing that. They're kind of making them more like Android was a few years ago. I think in like 2017, 2018. There'll be a summary of your notifications on the lock screen. If you want, I think you could probably turn that off.
Right.
But you will then be able to, it'll condense. So this is the other thing. So if you've ever seen an iPhone notification screen, you'll know that every single notification has its own line. It's insane. It's just like you have 1,000 emails and you've got 1,000 notifications, and it's like, I'm never going to look at those.
Right.
But it makes it impossible to get to the next thing and the next thing. So they're condensing those to where all the email notifications are a stack of cards, if you will. All your Reddit notifications are a stack of cards. All your text messages, I think, are a stack of cards. With text messages and other certain messages will be kind of rise to the top of the notifications because they're more important usually. So it's just going to group them better. It's going to make them easier to sort through and figure out what you do and don't want to care about. I think that's going to help a huge amount. I'll probably still never switch to an iPhone, but that would make it easier for me to switch.
Right.
Just because it's notifications are like how I live my life on my phone to some extent. I literally keep notifications in my notification area as like a task. Like, I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to do this.
Right.
Sort of deal. And the way they were done in iOS was just like a nightmare for me.
Did you ever have an iPhone?
I've never had an iPhone.
Okay.
I've used other people's here and there because I always have to support them as an IT person.
Right.
And my wife has an iPhone, so I'm always aware of what's going on and different things. So they're adding what they're calling Focus, which is essentially like a do not disturb situation. And it'll have different categories. So there's like a complete do not disturb, where I think you can customize these to where you say what kind of notifications you want in each one. But you could say do not disturb. Focus mode is you don't get any notifications except for like from important people. You can have one where it's just personal notifications come through. So you would then select which apps you want to appear in this personal focus mode. And then they have a work focus mode. So you can once again choose maybe you don't want to be distracted while you're working with personal things, you can add, your email, your work email, your Slack chat, whatever. You could add it to your work notification focus thing. And then they have a sleep one, which, you can set to start at specific times based on your habits of sleeping. I think this is really cool. And it's something that I would imagine Android's probably going to copy in the next version of Android, because they have something similar to this, but it doesn't work where you can just select these different profiles.
Customized yeah.
Yeah. So I would imagine Android probably copies this pretty soon.
I like that it's cross-platform. So like all your devices are for the iOS, for Apple devices, they're synced. So if you enable work focus on your phone, then your Mac,
your watch
also gets they all get switched at the same time. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as long as they're tied to the same iCloud account, they will switch all to that mode at the same time. So yeah, so your notifications don't come through on something else just because you didn't turn that device to work focus mode. Yeah, so that's a really cool feature. Like I said, I expect that one to come to Android probably in the next year or two, just because I think it's a huge help, the way they're dealing with that one. This one I'm less enthused about. So you'll be able to use your iPhone as an ID at the airport.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does. But I guess I'm kind of anti-digital ID to some extent. I'm also, so I don't know if you have like paper insurance cards, like for driving for your cars. You have,
No.
Is it just on your phone?
It's just on my phone.
See, that scares me. Like if I ever get pulled over, do I want to hand the cop an unlocked phone?
Well, they don't need to see they don't need to take the phone. They just need to see that you have it, because they can look it up themselves. Like they don't even need to see your policy to know whether you have insurance or not.
Well, normally don't they just take, like whenever I had the paper one, I haven't been pulled over in a long time. Whenever I had the paper one, they would always take it back to their car with my ID.
Right.
But like they would need your driver's license though, right?
They don't necessarily need it.
They want your driver's license almost 99% of the time.
Well, that's old school though. Again, you haven't been pulled over a while. Now, the last time they did take my license, but I showed them I said, I have it on my Geico app.
Yeah.
That's who I have. And they just like wrote down, I don't even know if they wrote down the policy, because they can go back and they can see on their system if I have an active policy, and they get all that information anyways. And they can look up, like, so I was all in Live PD. Did you ever watch Live PD?
No.
I was all over that, man. Like,
I'm just paranoid, so.
They just need your name, and they can pretty much find your license. I mean, it's crazy what they can do now.
Yeah. It makes sense. They're tied into all these different systems. Like, why wouldn't they be able to just pull it up based on some basic piece of information? But I'm curious how this will play into like driving without a license though. Like, would this count as your license?
Well, I think so, because I don't think, like, from what I've witnessed, like, they don't even give tickets if you don't have your actual license on you. As long as they can look up your license and it's not suspended, they're fine, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of Live PD. A lot.
Okay, so
I'm well versed in Live PD isms.
That's good to know. So you'll be able to add your driver's license based on the state. The state has to be participating in this. It will then be quote unquote encrypted and stored in the iPhone secure enclave.
I think this is brilliant. I don't know why because I carry my phone everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I have to have a card to show who I am? I don't know. I like it.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know you're explaining it and I just keep interrupting, but
no, you're good. You're good. I think it's good that you have a different opinion of this than I do.
I do. It's just, I don't even like carrying a wallet. I'm going to keep going. I don't even like carrying a wallet.
Yeah.
Right. I want to carry one thing on me, and I want it to be multi-use, multi-purpose. And if it all can be in my phone and I just have to Face ID or fingerprint or whatever it is, and I can pull everything. I can pay for stuff. I can show you my ID, my insurance, my passport. I'm like, it's all digital anyways.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, they're all pulling it up on a computer. They're going to verify it with their digital information. So why not make it digital for me? I think it's brilliant. And the fact that they want to even allow like hotel rooms to put your hotel key on it, your home. I guess if you have a home system to be able to unlock your doors.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do the RFI chip. I mean, RFID chip. Is that what it is?
Yep.
I mean, it's just, I think why not? That's me.
Yeah.
I'm for it. 100%.
I'm just a little more skeptical. I'm a don't trust anybody, a DTA kind of guy. So I'm a little skeptical of this and how it could be manipulated and used against you in some sort of way. But I'm all for certain things being like when I leave the house, I only have my wallet and my phone. I don't need keys for my car. My car doesn't use keys. It just uses my phone, and I love that. And so I've now gotten to the point where in my garage I have like a lock that I can unlock without a key. So I'm like in the same space that you are. I'm just a little more leery of like my driver's license information and whether I have to, like you said you don't have to hand over your phone to get this stuff, but I'm just a little more skeptical. So,
well, if they're going to hack you digitally, whether you have the paper card or not really is irrelevant, because if someone's going to do this digitally, they're going to get in digitally and change it. Whether your card says one thing or another.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe, Jeremiah.
Because if you're going to get screwed, you're going to get screwed, right? I mean, inevitably.
That's not what the rape victim said. Hey-o. No, I'm just kidding. Took this in a different way.
But I don't know. I just like the whole thing too with losing your identity. There are things that you can do to prevent identity theft, but in the end, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as good as our security is getting, the hackers are getting better, and it's going to be taken if somebody wants it.
I'm not so much concerned about identity theft, because I feel like identity theft is so much easier to steal without having physical access to anything. I'm more concerned about the way governments and specifically like police officers, because I feel like police officers abuse their power a lot. And I feel like them having that physical access to your phone, they could, and I'm not talking about me specifically, but I feel like it would be a lot easier if they had physical access to your phone to be able to do something with it, to manipulate something.
I wouldn't give them the phone. I wouldn't give it to them.
Yeah.
They'd have to write it down. Oh, no, I wouldn't hand it over.
Yeah.
And if that would be, I agree with you there, but I think I should be able to show it to them, and then they would just write down what they need and go back and look it up. I feel in a best case scenario, that's what would happen. Obviously, I'm sure you're right. There are some out there that would probably want something physical to look at, but I don't know. I get that. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I would not hand my phone over. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I
just feel like it's a way for them to abuse their power. That's my biggest fear.
Well, that's why you should record them.
Yeah, but if they have my phone, how can I record? And then they could just delete the video if they had my phone. So I'd be screwed either way.
I had come across an instance where I can't really tell too many details, but anyways, I heard a story of someone using their phone to record conversations. It was in their bag.
Yeah.
And it happened. It was a HIPAA violation, actually. And the phone was confiscated.
Yeah.
Because that information, the person separated from their phone, but left the recording going. And then it was found, essentially. And so What's interesting is that phone was confiscated. I don't know how they worked it out, but that's just like the medical facility couldn't give the phone back because there was sensitive data on it.
Hmm.
And I don't know how it was resolved or what you could do to resolve it, but that's just to me it's kind of fascinating that someone whether they intended to record patient information or doctor information or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And I wish I could find out what happened with it. I just heard kind of how that took place. I would love to know how it ended and how they resolved it because like you can't get other people's medical information.
Yeah.
I don't know how I came down this train, but it's just fascinating. I'm for the ID digitally. I think it's fine. That's where we're headed anyways, but
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I got on a tangent there. I apologize.
No, you're fine. That's what the podcast's for, right?
That's right.
Talk about whatever comes to our mind. Next thing is AirPods are getting some quality of life improvements with iOS 15. So all these are coming with the next version of the iPhone software or the iPad software. I don't know if everybody knows what they're called. So iOS is for the iPhones. iPad OS is for the iPads. There's watchOS for the watch. There's Mac OS for the Mac. They all make sense, but there's TV OS for the Apple TV. So if I talk about those things, that's what I'm talking about. There's no AirPods OS. But so they're adding a conversation boost feature for the iPads Pro, or for the AirPods Pro, that supposedly will help people with difficulties hearing other people's voices, especially in crowded conditions. They are not hearing aids like the Bose that we talked about last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. But they will try to isolate voices of the voice of the person in front of you. I'm sure it'll be based on the same technology that isolates your voice in phone calls and other things like that. You'll be able to change how much ambient noise you want through, and to change a couple other things as well. They'll also be able to announce messages and texts. Oh, wait, they can already announce those, but they're now getting the ability to read out important notifications like when food delivery is made.
We need that.
Well, you don't want your food sitting on your doorstep for like 2 hours. And you're like, where's the delivery person? They're like, well, they never really. Oh, crap. I wasn't looking at my phone. There'll be announcements based on location tag tasks and reminder. Siri could read out your grocery list when you get to the store for you. You will also be getting a Find My ability built into the AirPods. So the thing I'm not sure about this, does it base it on the case or does it base it on the AirPods themselves? That's the one thing I'm unsure about. But what's cool about this, so it'll be like the AirTags that we talked about, where you'll get the proximity view on your phone, and then you can kind of follow the arrow to your AirPods. I know that'll help my wife so much because she loses these things all the time. Melissa, you know that you never put your AirPods away. I know you're listening to this and you're like, son of a. You'll also get separation alerts. So if you start walking away from the AirPods, you'll get alerted on your phone like, hey, you're leaving these behind. And they're also adding spatial audio in FaceTime that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Which it'll also allow Dolby Atmos for Apple Music. And I'm sure they'll add this to more services as time goes on, which is more 360 audio, if you will. And that'll tie into the Apple TV and the Mac as well.
Have you used AirPods? I mean, are they really worth what you pay for them?
My wife likes them.
I don't know.
My wife likes them.
Okay.
Most people, I'm sure, who have them, like them, but they're tied into the Apple ecosystem at this point. So
sure,
even if they didn't like them, they would be like, I like them.
Right.
So I mean, I think they're probably. I know this because I watch a lot of videos from TheVerge.com. It's
Sure.
another website that I really enjoy. They have her name is Becca. She reviews headphones. They have the best microphone of any wireless headphone,
Mm-hmm.
as like the small like in-ear type. They have the best microphone of any of them. Not by
Okay.
like miles, but it is still the best one.
Right.
And she does a test of like all these different earbuds. And it's a pretty audible difference. Like you can tell when she
Mm-hmm.
records the audio that they're better. So I know for a fact that, at least that part is better. But I know there are other earbuds that have just as good audio quality, if not better than the AirPods or
Right.
AirPods Pro. So
So let me share this real quick because this happened to me this week. I had to go to the local med clinic
yeah.
and have my ear flushed of earwax.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had impacted. I don't use Q-tips, by the way, but anyways, it impacted enough that I lost hearing or part of my hearing in one ear. And I asked about how often people come in, and they say now that we have all these earbuds, that more people come in because that
Yeah.
pushes the earwax back, I guess, whatever it is. I'm an earwaxy person.
I'm yeah,
Totally.
I yeah, I have earwax too.
And
Everybody has earwax
but no, they don't have the amount.
that you have.
I wish I would have taken a picture of what I pulled out of my other ear during this whole process.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
I don't want that
You don't
picture.
want to know.
I don't want to see that picture,
That
Jeremy.
was it was I was amazed by it. But anyways, using AirPods or earpods or
Yeah.
earbuds, whatever, just be aware that if you do use devices like this, it can impact your earwax. And if you have any kind of loss of hearing, you need to go get your earwax cleaned. They just
Yeah.
flush it out. It's pretty
It
simple.
it does happen. I have Pixel Buds and I like them to some extent, but I don't like putting them in my ear. Like it's like they're fine, like they're comfortable and all that stuff, but just like the pushing of them in, and then eventually like I've got like I don't know, more moist earwax. So after a while it like feels weird and I've got to
Yes.
like I don't know. I'm probably getting a little too
Hey,
in detail, but I hate
I get
headphones
you.
period.
Yeah.
But I still do it. Like I prefer over the ear headphones and I've got really nice Sony ones.
Right.
Um
That's
but
what I
even then like my ears start to get hot and I don't like that. And then
get
putting
ear
things in my
sweat.
ear, I don't like that. So I prefer just really nice speakers, but in a pinch when I have to, I'll
Yeah.
put in earbuds
Yeah.
or over the head headphones.
So people are learning more and more about us each episode that they
Yeah.
listen to and
Eventually
watch.
someone's just going to take over my persona. It's going to be like never mind. It's whatever.
Let's move on to watchOS.
Let's move on to watchOS. I'll be honest, I didn't read up about this as much as possible. I normally watch the conferences, but for some reason I wasn't able to watch this last one, and so I'm a little less versed in this. One thing that I think is really cool that they're adding is you'll be able to change the watch face to have photos.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be based on the Photos app, and you'll be able to have that person's photo and then text like the time and whatnot will show up in different places on the watch based on I think what's in the picture.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool looking from
Yeah,
what they show.
that's pretty cool. That's something that I would probably use to be honest. I think it gives people more customization, even if it's not like pictures of your family. Like if you could do just like other pictures that you really like of
Mm-hmm.
maybe like the Mandalorian or something. Um, I would totally do that. The Series 6 watch will get support for car key support.
Mm-hmm.
So they added that in iOS, I think 14 something, where you could start having car keys in the wallet. I think BMW is like the only one who supports it right now. But this will allow you to do it without your phone, which once again, if you need to go running or something and all you need is your watch,
Yeah.
awesome. Less things you have to take with you, the better when you don't want to
Mhm.
have a bunch of like pockets and other things. Um, the Home app is getting redesigned for the Apple Watch. Will allow you the ability to view camera feeds from security cameras only through the
That's
Home
impressive.
app. Only through the Home app, though, so you won't be able to do it through like the Nest app or the Ring app or any of those other apps. If they support it, great, but Home app for sure will be able to get that functionality. A bunch of other things, precipitation alerts. Are you going to say something?
No,
Oh, you
I was just
started to
kind of
lean in
leaning.
like you're going to say
Yeah, I was
something.
leaning in, but
More health tracking features for like workout types for Tai Chi and Pilates. Those are big for my wife, so I'm sure she'll be super excited about that.
Mhm.
You can explicitly track your respiratory rate while sleeping and notify you if you're outside of your normal patterns. How many people have like their watch on while they sleep and it still goes the next day? Like I feel like the battery life's not that good. Like we're just gonna wear it for like 48 hours straight.
I mean, I think you can.
I don't know.
So my Samsung will go.
Different watches.
I know, I know,
Let's
but I haven't. I don't. I forget which Samsung I have, but it'll go. I think it goes close to 48 hours. I don't wear it to sleep, but I think it
the,
goes pretty close to that.
the Apple Watch battery life, the aspirational goal is 18 hours after an overnight charge. So you're not wearing this thing for like more than a day.
No.
So it's like, why would you wear it? Here's my thing. It's like you put it on in the morning, right? You're like, all right, I'm good to go for however long your day is. Maybe you whatever. You're not gonna then wear it overnight and it's like, all right, now it's dead.
And then you
Great.
got to charge it.
And then you
Yeah.
gotta charge it again. So I don't know. It just seems
I don't wear it to sleep. I wouldn't wear it to sleep, but
seems strange to me. It's like
yeah,
it's not the platform where I want it to track my sleep because it's just gonna die while I'm wearing it.
exactly.
One of the coolest things that they announced, uh, I'm not sure how useful this will be for most people. Still really cool demonstration. This has to do with Mac OS and iPads.
Mhm.
You will be able to use a mouse and keyboard that are hooked up to a Mac, and you'll be able to drag and drop items from your Mac to your iPad and back and forth, and use your mouse and keyboard on the iPad as long as they're within a certain distance of each other and they are on the same iCloud account. They were demonstrating that you could copy and paste a photo from like the iPad to the Mac, which was pretty crazy.
That is kind of cool.
Right? So I know you're probably familiar with Synergy from back in the day.
Yes,
So this
right.
kind of takes that to like the next level to some extent.
But the
Where
fact that you can do it to your iPad
yeah,
is actually quite fascinating and quite. I think it would be useful.
yeah. So they added, I think it's called Sidecar, the feature where you could use your iPad as a second screen for your Mac
Hmm.
in the last Mac OS and iPad OS updates.
Right.
So this just takes that functionality to the next level where you can then pass files back and forth between the devices. You could have up to 3 devices connected to this. You could have 2 Macs and an iPad, um, all essentially one seamless desktop for you to kind of pass things between. They even showed it passing uh, the iPad items from the MacBook over to the iMac um, into like a video timeline. So that's just pretty cool. I
Yeah.
don't know how useful, like I said, it'll probably be like less than 5% will ever use that functionality. Um, but the fact that they're adding stuff in there that even though, the 5% will use, I think is great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. They're going to update Mac automation. give it a bit of a facelift, make it look more like. I'm terrible with the names of the iOS things. iOS has like the automations that you can do on the phone, where you can have it do a bunch of set different tasks in a row. It'll be similar to that interface. They're updating the look of Safari. Looks way different. It'll be more minimal than it is now. So most browsers have like the tabs at the top and then like the URL bar and all the buttons and everything below that. Everything will be in line. Everything will be at the very top.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really nice, but at the same time, I feel like for someone who uses a lot of tabs, it's going to be real bad, real fast.
Yeah.
I'm a huge tab user. So my stuff will be completely overrun in no time. Plus, it doesn't show any of your plugins, which I use tons of plugins for Chrome. I mean, it looks really nice. I think you lose some functionality with not being able to see everything at one time.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Well, that's what Apple's all about, though, is kind of streamlining everything and kind of making it minimal. And I mean,
yeah,
that's what they do.
So that was Apple's WWDC in a nutshell. Not everything. We didn't talk about everything. I mean, that was only like 8 different features.
But that was a lot.
And that still took us a really long time to talk about.
Yeah.
So, tons more stuff coming. A lot of it, the people who listen to our podcast probably will never use. But I feel like the things we talked about are things that everyday people will probably get some use out of and benefit from. So
100%.
Super exciting stuff coming out if you're an Apple user.
Exactly. Well, if you like this show, like us and subscribe to us on YouTube or on your podcast app.
Yep.
And listen and watch every week. I think that's it, man. That's a lot of stuff.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I don't know how to say goodbye.
Until next time, au revoir.
We're signing off.
Ta-ta.